Hello, guys. Welcome back to a new episode of Kettles the Road podcast, where we talk about mental health and share our stories of what we've been through and how we deal with it. And today's guest is a good friend of mine, Mr. Brian Rodman, who is a fantastic artist. I love his work, and we're going to work together someday. But I'll take my word for it. Let's just let him talk by himself and tell about his art. So first off, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me, Kevin. I'm Brian Rodman. I have been a professional artist and writer since 2015. Started off in comic books, doing that professionally, and then in 2022 made a pivot to prose and illustrating prose as well. And that's where I've been ever since. And I love it. It's great. But yeah, I've been doing this for a little over 10 years now, and I don't plan on stopping. So it's a blast.
Heck yeah, brother. And we met each other a few months ago uh, on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I've been following your stuff since then.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Uh,
that. Also,
especially,
my condolences of all the other shenanigans I post.
and it happens, man. It happens. I really followed you because I love how you always post. How can I pray for you today?
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never seen anybody post that before. And I was like, I'm like, I need prayer, so let me just say what I need prayer for.
Yeah.
And then I text
Yeah.
you personally, asking more specifically, because it was more a personal thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of folks do that. They go that route, and that's completely understandable. I know a lot of people don't really want to, put their personal stuff out there, which is fine. I don't know what got me started doing that every day is, I mean, I'm a Christian, and I think that's what we should be doing. And I know a
Agreed.
lot of people, a lot of Christians that I know try to kind of distance themselves from social media because it can be a really toxic place. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
for
I
sure.
mean, because I'm disabled and I'm mostly homebound, social media is kind of that's where I get most of my social interaction. So I can't really go out and rub shoulders with a lot of other people. So I figured if that's where I am most of the time, I need to construct it, make it not as toxic as possible with my
Yeah,
feed. But also, I need to offer something, as a person who cares about other people and who believes in prayer. So, yeah, that's I'm glad that you have felt like you can take advantage of that, and I hope other people do as well.
heck yeah. I'm also a believer myself, and like you said, social media is definitely toxic.
Yeah,
It's filled with so much hate
yeah.
and this grief. It gets to your mental very fast.
It
Uh,
does. It does. I
I,
mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's cool. I was hesitant getting on social media for like a long time because I know how people get. And plus, I didn't know how the heck to work it at
Yeah.
all. But growing up, I always knew that I wanted to be an inspiration somewhere, somehow.
Hmm.
And I didn't know where to start, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest, especially
Yeah.
like all the stuff I've been through, like growing up in a household full of women, like being the only male in my household my entire
Hmm.
life. I was in a confused state. I didn't know what my purpose was. I was filled with anger, depression, anxiety, and there were times I had those suicidal thoughts.
Oh man, I'm sorry about
And
that.
I blame my mother on everything because I just wanted to blame somebody, and
Hmm.
I blamed her for like my biological father not being around, even though I didn't know the full story of why he wasn't around.
Yeah.
And I just blamed my mother, always thinking that she loved my sister more than me, because because um my sister was doing a lot of stuff. So from my point of view as a kid, like she loved my sister more than me. But as I grew up, I realized my sister was actually doing a lot more than I was. I'm like, she
Hmm.
was in contests, she was in award shows, or like for school and stuff.
Yeah.
She did piano and she did all these other activities where I'm like, I'm the nonchalant kid that don't know what the heck I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like I've always been like, no, I don't want to do that because I was terrified to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, I'm the quiet kid. Like I'm the quiet, awkward kid on the block. And I'm like, I don't know what my talent is. Like if I even have any talent, what type of gift I have.
Mhm.
And I just blamed everybody else and not look at myself. And I just wanted to, and I just like blame people for my hurt, even though I was hurting myself.
Yeah.
And there were times I punched a wall because I was so angry at my biological father for not being around. Like even when I was like traveling with him to where he lives, I tried to ask him like, can we just have father-son time, like just
Mhm.
us? And of course he's like, no, blah blah blah. And like, and so they got to go with the family that he cheated on my mom with,
Mhm.
basically. And so I was like, okay. I was like, I don't give a crap about who these people are.
Yeah.
But I pretended like I did because I had to stay with them. You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I
What
mean?
else are you gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
So
a kid, right?
yeah.
So, like, you don't know how to deal with that. It's
Yeah.
yeah, people put kids in those kind of situations all the time, and on the surface, it seems like the kids are fine, but,
Oh yeah.
we don't
Oh
really
yeah.
understand what kind of damage that does to a child.
Exactly. And like one time my mom said that she didn't want to have a son, and I
Mhm.
took that the wrong way for years,
Yeah,
and I didn't ask the question, what did she mean by it? So I
yeah,
just got all of my feelings and just shut down. And then, but when I got as well, when I got older, I was what was it? Was I six? I think it was I was 16, I think. 16 or 7. I was close to 18. I'll say that. I was close to being 18.
mhm,
My mother sat me down and explained what she meant by that. And she told me she didn't want to have a son with the man she was with because she
mhm,
knew in her gut she would have to raise a man on her own. And
yeah,
she was terrified raising a man because she was terrified that she will fail me.
yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me?
A little more explanation would have been great sooner than
Yeah.
now, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't ask the question sooner though. I just walked away
yeah.
with it.
Well, and also, I mean, there's a combination of things there. You were a kid. You didn't know how to receive
Mm,
it. You didn't know what to ask. You just
yeah.
heard it and walked on in your life.
Yep.
And honestly, eh, parents are also broken people too. They have their own traumas, they have their own
Hmm.
abilities and disabilities when it comes to communication and social interaction.
Hmm.
And sometimes, parents are doing their best. No matter how good a parent is, they're
Hmm.
going to, in some way, harm their child mentally because
Oh,
we all do. You know what I mean? Like there's no
oh.
escaping it. But yeah, it's just I'm really sorry that happened to you, man. I'm sorry that you had to deal with all that as a kid. That's a lot.
Uh, Honestly, when I think about as I got older, I'm not sorry about it at all
Okay.
because I feel like if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be the man I am today.
That's very true too. Yeah.
And well, I had my fallout with my biological father uh over a decade ago when we had a phone call and I spilled up my feelings.
Mhm.
Tell him how I told him that I was disappointed and I'm angry and I don't want to see you again
Yeah.
because you never cared about me or my sister
Mhm.
or my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm done. It's like you can go back to whatever your family is. I'm done.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my healing started from that.
Yeah.
And that's where it's kind of like I still went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I still a little bit of time because I was still dealing with the aftermath.
Yeah.
Because I almost went to jail in middle school
Mhm.
after stabbing a kid in his hand.
Yeah. That'll
Uh,
do
but
it.
but I did that because he was bullying me because I've been bullied
Yeah.
my entire life, and so
Yeah.
I got tired of it. And
Yeah.
he was talking about my mother, and I'm very protective of my mother and my family.
Yeah.
And so I reacted. I stabbed him with a pencil in his hand,
Yeah.
and I nearly went to jail. But
Yeah.
the- by the grace of God, the cop was like, he's tired of seeing people like us going to jail, especially over simple incidents like this,
Yeah.
and especially as
Especially so
kids.
young. Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
especially as a middle schooler.
especially as kids. So he gave me a warning, and because I live in an area that he patrols, he made sure
Mm.
that I did not get in more trouble.
You had
And
a good police officer. They're obviously not all like that. So that's
yeah.
that's
And
that's
then I
good.
almost went to jail because I was stealing money from my family, trying to impress some girl I never knew. Anyway,
Oh man.
yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
But graduation day came, and both cops were there, and they saw me in my suit and everything, my haircut and everything. They said, "Oh, young man grew up. You getting
That's
yourself
good.
together." I was like, "Yes, sir, I am," because I'm not gonna go down that path like my
Yeah.
cousin has been going, and like what other people's been going. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I have a life to live, and I have a purpose somewhere,
Yeah.
and I'm going to figure out what that is.
That's great, man.
And
That's
they gave
great.
me a hug
Mm,
and everything, and my mother missed my my middle school graduation because she
mm,
was in a hospital.
mm,
Um, and I think to this day she still like feel she's always there for everything. Just that
yeah.
one thing she was so upset about.
Well,
Like
if you're
I
in
was
the
like, it's just,
hospital, I feel like you get a little bit of a pass on missing stuff.
but she
So,
loves us so much. She wants to be
yeah.
for every single thing, and I'm like, Mom, it's just middle school. It's not really the big one yet. High school is the
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah.
And of course, she was at the high school, man.
Yeah.
And man, life is it's took a turn, but it took a turn for me to learn lessons and
Yeah.
to humble me and not be like a lot of like cocky kids. You
Mm,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And now I'm here, 26 years old, building my own company. That I never knew I wanted to do business at all.
Yeah.
I I'm like growing up, I know people saw us like had dreams like being a doctor or being an actor, like being a business person. And I'm just like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it was high
Man,
school.
I was just like that until early college. I completely understand that.
Yeah, and it was high school when God revealed to me the gift of writing, that I have the
Mm,
gift of writing.
yeah.
Because it was my ninth grade African American history class. We had our first paper. God, I hated papers. Jesus, that's why I hated writing for a while because of papers. Jesus, but my teacher had leveled us from 1 to 5. Where it's like one, you need a lot of help. It was like
Mm,
5, you're there, just stay there. And after my first paper, I was on level 3. And
mm,
my teacher came to me and said, "You're there, but I want to push you to the more professional level of a
mm-hmm.
5 there." He said, just keep going, and I'm gonna give you tips on how you get to that 5 level and
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah.
I'm just like, me, a good writer? Like what?
Yeah.
And so I was like, and my mother taught me, it's like, if you think about it, the thing you hate the most, you're actually really good at. And
Mm,
I hate writing the most. I'm saying, and my
mm.
mother was right, because it turns out I'm actually good at writing.
And I think you gotta find your sweet spot with writing too. Like you might have hated writing because I didn't enjoy writing essays, things like
Mhm.
that. But once I was able to get my hands on, fiction, I mean, even also, I think when you're assigned something, no
Mhm.
matter what, you don't really wanna do it. You know what I mean? Like, that was
Yeah.
my experience, at least, is I never wanted to read the books I was assigned to read. I never wanted to write the things I was assigned to write. Had to do them, obviously. But yeah, I mean, until I was kinda out there on my own, I fell in love with reading and I fell in love with writing, because I found the things I was interested in and the things I wanted to talk about.
Man, yeah. Then it was like, and when we got to my senior year of high school, I legit went back to my teachers previous year to show them where my writing is gone.
Mhm.
And I was like, and they all was like, "Wow, Kevin, wow, you have improved a lot."
Yeah.
And before graduation day, we was told to write an essay about community for a scholarship. It was like I think like 5 people could win up to the scholarship. I mean, I wrote something. I didn't really think I was going to win a scholarship anyway. So I just wrote something simple. I was like, this is what I thought. Then my government teacher read it. He's like, I want you to be. He saw my potential. He's like, I want you to be personal. I want you to
Yeah.
show them you in this essay. he's like, deep dive into who you are and what you think of community. And I was like, okay. And so I went back and rewrote it. And next thing I know, graduation day, I was one of the scholarship winners. And
Nice.
and my mother and my sister were in the crowd, and they was like, "Wait a minute, he did what?" Because I didn't tell them that I wrote the essay. They,
Surprise.
and
Yeah.
and I got off the stage. And they on graduation over, they grabbed me so fast. It's like, you didn't tell us you wrote an essay. You didn't have us proofread it or nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, surprise? It's like, oh my God. And dude, that was one of the best days of my life. I'm like, I didn't want you to proofread because I want to do something on my own. I want to
Yeah.
see if I can get the job done
Yeah. That's
and to
great.
see if I could write as my teacher said I can. So
Mhm.
like I had that confidence boost and I was like, I wanted to find myself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And and so I started writing my first novel, which is actually this is like this is my first novel. I wrote a couple
I like that cover too. That's nice.
thank you. And I started after I graduated high school 2018 and I think I published it 2019 or 2020-ish. But I took it down in 2022
Mm.
because I felt like I wasn't ready for that yet. It
Mm.
wasn't I didn't have enough experience to share my story just yet.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready to like be fully open.
Yeah.
And now 3 years later, because in 2025, I finally picked it back up and I'm actually reworking it because one, I'm in a better mindset, I'm in better spirits, and I'm in like a better position to actually share my story
Yeah.
and share my adventure. Like, that's also why I got into podcasting into the comic book industry because I want to share stories and tell stories. And I'm a huge storyteller fan, and I will always want to be known as a man that can tell stories.
Yeah, man. And
And
that's
I
wise to know, that you put it out there, I'm not ready for that yet. Pull it
mhm,
off and then rework it and then, come back out with a
yeah,
refined vision. That's really wise. Kudos to you on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. And I started. I I actually my first time reading comics was 2020. I didn't grow up on comics.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
man. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
hey, welcome to the world of comics. You're still a little bit of a newbie. I love it.
Yeah, I am.
That's awesome.
Like yes, I grew up on like the Marvel, the DC, like the animations and like the
Yeah, yeah.
movies and the
But the
TV
comics you
shows.
never really read too much of.
Yeah, because I never knew they were a thing until I got on
Really?
TikTok and Marvel
Yeah.
was like on my feed and they
Uh-huh.
was talking about comic books. I was like, what? I'm like, what is a comic book?
Uh-huh.
And then I went to their website. I was like, where the crap have I been all this
Dude.
time?
Yes.
I was like, have
Yes.
I been such in a deep hole that I did not realize that this is a thing?
Oh, man. I mean,
And
it is
I'm like,
crazy
I'm like,
some of the things we just
I've
don't
always
know
read
exists.
novels. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and like I've
oh,
always
the
like
last thing I heard you
Percy
say was,
Jackson.
"Can you hear me?" Or just the
That's
internet in general.
probably in general. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was saying like I grew up like reading novels like Percy Jackson, like Hunger Games, and like novels and like in general.
Oh,
I didn't learn about comics until 2020.
oh,
But you good?
now I am.
The internet. Anything weird? Yeah, you're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, you're good. There for a second, you were freezing up really bad.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
That was weird.
Okay. That, that, internet's weird. but I was saying like I was like I grew up like reading novels in general, like the Harry
Uh-huh.
like I didn't read Harry Potter, but I read Percy Jackson, Hunger Games, other novels that I can't really name off the top of my head because there was a lot, and like I knew those books.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, 2020, I was like, and then I'm a big fan of Hellboy, and I found out Hellboy is a freaking comic book. I
Yes.
was like, what the hell?
Oh,
I was like,
yes.
where the hell have I been?
Hellboy's the best, in my
Yes,
opinion.
it is.
I love Hellboy.
Dude, and of course, I copped those physicals of Hellboy, and I read the digitals of DC and Marvel because I wasn't
Mhm.
sure if I was gonna like them or not because I got the
Yeah,
digitals, and then I learned about independent comics like Ace Blade or Black Sands Entertainment, and then
yeah,
Dark Horse where Hellboy is being produced and published, and then IDW when I learned that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a freaking comic, I was like, bruh, are you freaking kidding me?
yeah,
And then Sonic is a freak has a comics. I was like, bro,
yeah.
what the hell have I been? And then
Speaking of
Power,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I have issue one, third printing up there, in a sealed, graded container. So
dude, I'm jealous.
I, I I still don't believe that I have that. It just I walked into a comic shop that my book was in a few
Right,
years back, and I was just coming in to do like a business transaction,
right,
and I saw
right.
that he had three of them. And I was like,
Wow.
one of the he had a first edition, and I could not afford that. But I was like, what is, because there was one that was a lower price. I was like, what is that one? He said, that's the third printing.
Mm,
And it's graded 7.0. And I was like, I want it. I mean, I'm not trying to resell it. I just want it on my wall because I am a huge, I mean, look right there, huge turtle fan. When I was a child, I was nicknamed Turtle Brian and wore that title proudly. But I mean, like you, I was introduced to them through the cartoon, and I didn't know they were in the movies. I didn't know they were an indie comic until I got a little bit older.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I read comics from a very young age, but and mostly it's because of my parents
mm.
fed them to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that they existed.
Man. And then I got like inspired to like want to start getting into comics myself, like writing them.
Yeah,
And because writing is literally my therapy, like dealing with the emotions, like dealing with the heavy thoughts in my head. Like I come from like I'm still writing novels, but I want to expand my horizon.
yeah.
And so I asked around like comic artists like and comic writers and like how do you guys bring this to life? Like how does this work? And at first I was like I was going to hire like a comic writer to write for me.
Mm,
And then I was like, well, I'm not sure that can translate what's in my brain though,
yeah, yeah.
because I have an imagination as I've been told. And so I'm like, I'd rather do it myself. And
Mike
then save,
Mignola, the guy
and then
who
like,
go ahead, sorry.
so I was just trying to say, like, then I can save that money up to pay an artist to do the drawing part for me. And I was like, I used to draw, but I do not feel like learning the anatomy to draw buildings and human parts and
Yeah.
everything else an artist has to take hours to do. So I'm gonna just let a professional do that part for
It
me.
is it
I'll
takes a
just
lot of time, there's a lot of practice there, that's for sure. If you don't have the
and
patience for it, then yeah, don't do it.
that's like I was like I can draw small things like a guitar, but a full
Yeah,
fledged setting, a scene, a pedal, and I'm like I'd rather just save up and pay an artist to do that because they know what they're doing. And so that's what writing became more of my strong suit.
yeah.
And I write mostly fantasy and horror because
Mm,
that's my strong suit.
yeah,
And I gravitated towards that mostly, yeah, horror mostly because I love the darkness, especially like
mm,
growing up, I was in a dark place,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
you
feel
can
like
relate to
horror,
it.
I can
Yeah,
just hide like how I feel in horror,
yeah,
and then my mother always tried to teach me balance, like how she always said have a diverse setting and
mhm,
don't be just one footnote or something
yeah,
like that. And so I'm like I'm a Disney kid, I'm a Nickelodeon kid, I'm a Cartoon Network kid. I'm a I'm like I watched all the Disney Channel shows, movies. Like I'm like but that's also how I felt with the musicals.
Yeah.
And it's like I go back and watch the old school cartoons like Cat and Dog or Rugrats, Hey Arnold, um, and my imagination just starts to grow more and like
Mm.
and then like the Grim Reap uh Billy shoot what's that cartoon the
Oh,
cartoon shoot Billy Grimm you
yeah, I
know
know
what
what
I'm
you're
talking
talking about. Yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah.
and then the Codename Kids Next Door, like stuff
Mhm.
like and I even got into like Yu-Gi-Oh and Naruto, and like I have that diversity. And then on the horror side, I grew up like on Halloween, Insidious, The Thing, Haunting in Connecticut,
Yeah.
Sinister, and so many other things. And I was like, I want to storytell, and it's like I'm like because I'm like, why should I wait on someone in Hollywood to do a story that I want to see when I can just take the time and build it myself?
Yeah.
And And so that's also like another avenue to like deal with my mental health. It's like just writing my thoughts out through poetry and then also through telling a story. And that's also how I kind of healed I got some healing when I got bullied. I kind of just put my bullies into horror comics and killed them off. That's
Better than
the
actually killing them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and that's how I try to make each characters that I write relatable somewhere. Um, and somehow because you never know which one would touch somebody. So I try to make every character as important as the main characters because all my characters are main characters to
Mm. Yeah.
me. But what was you about to say about Mike Malone?
Oh, he when he was talking about when he first started writing Hellboy, with the first trade, so the first, I guess, 3 or 4 issues, he did not write that himself, because he didn't have the confidence. He
Mm,
wanted, oh, I can't remember, I think it was John Byrne who wrote it for him, and John
mm,
Byrne even said, you should be writing this book, not me." But he agreed
mm,
to it, and it read like a traditional comic, the interior monologue, all that kinda stuff. Then when Mike started writing it, it it became what it is now, and it was a very unique, weird, world that everybody fell in love with eventually.
mm,
And, but it was just that one, I mean, you can see how big Hellboy is and how big of a creator Mike Mignola is.
mm,
And but he still had those same insecurities about writing and about his own ability. And to me, that gives all of us the confidence to be able to push ourselves, and try things that, we may not be good at it at first, but the
mm,
more you do something, I mean, you do something for so long, you're gonna get good at it, you know?
mm,
Especially if you challenge yourself and push yourself and listen to people who have accomplished more and understand how the craft works. Man, just keep pushing, and accept, okay, this is where I am now, doing the best I can. In, 2 years, I'll look back and be like, oh gosh, because that's what I do, man. There are some early works where I'm just like, oh, I don't ever want anybody to see this. But I leave it out there and I keep it because that's where I was at that time. And if anything, someone who, is getting started can look at that and say, hey, I could do that. And I mean, every now and then I'll put like a side by side up. This last couple months ago, I put a side by side up of the same character I drew in 2015, 2016. It was an angel character from Memoirs of an Angel,
mm,
and the same pose, same character that I had redone for the novel
mm,
that came out last year. I put those images side by side, and you could just
mm,
see the growth, as an artist, and it's something that I'm proud of. And back then, in 2015, that was the best thing I had ever drawn. And you look back now, and it's not that good. It's not bad, but it's not that great. But you look at the new illustration of the same character, same pose, same part in the story,
mm,
so much improvement has happened, and that's just really that's what you will see if you keep going, if you keep pushing. And that's always been my advice to people just breaking in, to whatever it is, art, writing, comics, novels. Just keep learning, keep going. Eventually, you're going to get where you want to be,
Hmm.
and you just got to have patience with yourself because we all have a standard up here that by the time it
Mm.
gets out of us and into something, sometimes we're just really disappointed. And that's
Yeah.
understandable, that's normal, but the more that you do it, the better it's gonna be and the more satisfied you're going to be with what you produce.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm like, and enough me yapping. Okay, and I know you are an award-winning illustrator, which is freaking phenomenal, by the
I
way.
can't believe
So,
that at this point.
uh,
It's like, "What? Okay, whatever, just ignore that and move on." 'Cause, yeah, it's like that's an ego trap if you let it be. That can do some harm, but it's really meaningful. I was not s I was surprised. It was pretty cool.
and like in your journey after all these years in this world, and I know you deal with a lot of health stuff. If
Mhm.
you're comfortable talking about that,
Yeah, yeah.
like how do you deal with that mentally? Like, when you have all these beautiful projects that you're doing, but you're also having I don't know how to phrase it, but
Constant disability. That's how I look at
constant,
it. Yeah, constant health
like,
problems,
because
and
I
it
know that
yeah,
has to like that deals with your mental, because that is a heavy burden to
yeah,
deal with every day. Like, how do you
yeah.
get through that?
So at first it was really hard. The first year. So when I said earlier that I pivoted from comics to prose, it was because my health tanked. I
Mm,
got um we are just now discovering that most likely I have long COVID. And
oh
that
no,
I had underlying problems. I had severe asthma, and getting COVID and it getting into my system, it just wrecked me. I have scarring on my lungs, which is a telltale sign that I've had COVID. There was an outbreak at my work in early 2022,
mm,
and I had very mild symptoms. Took a take-home test. It tested negative. Symptoms went away within a day or two. A lot of
okay,
people have that story, and they actually had COVID. Um,
right,
Over the following months, my health just completely tanked, to the point where I wouldn't be able to walk across my house without completely getting out of breath and sometimes having an asthma attack. It still is that bad, a lot of times. And, I mean, with anything, I had to learn, because, I was put on short-term disability. So the outbreak happened in late January, early February. I was
right.
put on short-term disability in August. That's how quickly it happened. Long-term disability,
Jesus.
a couple months after that, and that's where I've been ever since. But
Oh man.
it was really, man, that first year was really hard mentally and emotionally. I was, because I'm a big dude. I'm 6'3". I'm much larger now than I was when I started on this journey. I'm 365 now. I wasn't super fit when my health tanked, but I'm a big guy. I'm used to being able to use my size to, help people move or just, just do normal life too. All those
Right,
things
yeah.
that everybody can do, who is able. And I lost all that. And it was something that was a part of me. It was a part of my identity that I felt was gone, and a part of my
Mm,
worth that was gone. And, that can send you into a spiral, for a while, and it did. The things that got me out of it were was prayer for the most part, spending, and
amen.
what I mean by that, because a lot of people be like, What do you mean?" Like, just, sitting down, talking to God. Also, I utilize a lot of the liturgical prayers, from different church traditions within Christianity.
Mm,
I'm not a Catholic, not an Anglican. I'm not really. I don't really belong to a denomination. I heard this phrase once and I loved it.
Same.
I'm what is called a free range Christian, which is I just kind of float through all the traditions and really cling
Uh,
to the truth that I find in them,
yeah, I go by
and
that.
really
I'm a
utilize that. And so that
yeah.
really helped me a lot. And it helped me find more of my worth in who God told me I was, as opposed to the things that I can do,
Mm,
which is a lesson that I had to learn because I didn't even know it. I didn't even know that my worth was so closely and intimately tied to the things that I could do physically until all of that was taken from me
mm,
by this sickness. And God was just like, I'm going to take this opportunity to come in and show you who you are, what you're worth, and how that has nothing to do with these other things that
mm,
you were able to do before and now you're not. That was a huge thing. That's number one thing. My friends and my family. I found that I could not, as far as creating goes, I couldn't because I did everything when I created comics. I penciled, inked, colored, lettered, everything.
mm,
That's a lot of work, and I didn't
mm,
realize how much of that I couldn't do anymore until I was in the middle of fulfilling a comic that I had crowdfunded, and it was taking me twice as long to get everything done. And so I was like, okay, something's got to give because I can't do this consistently. I'll never be able to tell stories. It'll
mm,
take me 2 years to put a 30-page comic together, and I can't do that. So and I've gotten faster now, so I'm actually going to eventually revisit comic books. So, but back then, I didn't know how my body worked anymore. I had to get used to everything.
mhm,
I didn't know how to rest properly. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So it was okay, I can't do comics right now. So what am I supposed to do? And my friends, Brian K. Morris, Clyde Hall, my wife, and a publisher and author named Charles F. Millhouse. All Charles gave me a chance to kind of write a short story and put it in his magazine, Pulp Reality. And everybody was kind of like, look, you're doing comics. You are a writer, which I already knew I was. But they were like, why don't you try prose? Try it. And Charles gave me a chance to actually get published and to do that. It turns out I enjoy it. I liked it, and I had never done it before, in that medium, and so, that kinda gave me a new direction, so I turned my comic book series, which was, Memoirs of an Angel, um, this guy right here, and,
beautiful,
I turned this
beautiful.
into this beast right here.
Holy smokes.
Which is funny
Wow.
because so let's see. This is just the first 4 issues of the comic. The comic
Okay,
itself only made it to 8 issues until my health tanked. Um,
okay.
this is probably, I would say what would have been the first 16 to 17 issues of the comic. So I was able to
Can can we buy
redo
copies?
do what?
Can we buy copies?
Absolutely. Head to brianrodman.com right here. And you can get the digital or the physical copy. Also, it's available on Amazon. So just type
Awesome.
in Memoirs of an Angel and then type my name in there too, because there's a lot of things with Memoirs of an Angel attached to it. So
Gotcha.
I'm in constant competition with a book about a dog on Amazon. So, um, but, um,
Oh my
but
god.
yeah, I mean, that the comic turned into this, which this was always when I started this, it was like, this is the format that this story needed to be told in. This is
Mhm.
the medium. I mean, and it's still I've still got let me find a good page here. I've still got, you know, a lot of illustrations throughout the book. The book is basically
Nice.
this all the time. So it's a heavily illustrated book. I can still do that. And so I started on that journey in at the end of 2022 once I got or 2023 rather once I got the previous comic book fulfilled, and I haven't stopped since. And I that this was crowdfunded on Kickstarter in 2024. It was a record breaking for us for B&R Publications, record breaking Kickstarter. We almost got $8,000, which you know, I mean, you look at Kickstarter, that's not astronomical, but it was for us. And and you know, and then it was published in 2025 in the spring. And yeah, I had to learn throughout that journey. I had to learn I still have a lot of strengths, and I still have a lot of things that I can offer this world, and I
Mhm.
still have abilities that I can utilize my mind and my skills of writing and art, and communication. Those are still things that I have. And so I can utilize those to bring about the things that I want to tell readers and friends and family, and I can still offer people help, which is one of the reasons that I started asking if I could pray for you, you know, online. That became a part of that, and that became that process within that first year of being disabled. I had to learn, okay, I'm not helpless. I still need a lot of help doing physical things, but I can do these things really well. And I need to
Mhm.
focus on these things. And I need to learn how my body works, rest properly, um, you know, get therapy because I that was another big thing. I had to go to therapy on and off a few times. And I'm sure I will again just to be able to get my head in the right place. Because the
Mhm.
funny thing about trauma is when you experience trauma, old stuff starts popping up too that you
Yeah,
forgot about
yeah. Oh my god.
or you didn't address properly, you know, that you've been
Yeah.
carrying with you this whole time. So not only are you dealing with this current trauma that you're feeling, but you're now, you know, dealing with things that you didn't properly deal with years ago. So it's even worse, you know? And so
Oh, yeah.
you're so I had to deal with a lot of that stuff too. And I did. And then I'm in a much better place now, emotionally, mentally, not physically, but yeah, my life is a lot more doable now. I can still function.
Mhm.
I can still, I know how to properly face my days when it comes to rest. Like in the morning, there are days when I don't get out of bed, or I get out of bed just to go to the bathroom, or you know, make a meal, a quick one, and then come back to bed because I don't have the energy or the air to do anything else. And then there
Mhm.
are days when I wake up, I'm able to shuffle to the living room, make some coffee, you know, do my prayer time, and then come in my studio and write or draw or both if I'm having a really good day. And then usually I got a good 6 hours of doing something, and then on my good days, and then I go back to bed. Um, but I know that routine now. You know, I understand what my body feels like if I can get up in the morning and I shuffle to this room and, oh, I'm having a lot of trouble. I know to go back to bed because if I don't, I'm gonna be down for 3 days if I push myself,
Mm.
physically, 'cause I know that that's how it works because I learned all that in the first year. Um, but yeah, I mean, just it does, but there are still days, man, that it takes a mental toll. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I've got it all figured out." No. I mean, there are days where you know, I break down. I have, you know, I feel like, you know, life sucks. It's never gonna get better. And then, you know, I go to sleep and I wake up the next day and things are better. You know, and sometimes that lasts for a season. Doesn't always work that way where you're fine, you know, you're down one day and you're fine the next. It just you kinda gotta roll with the punches, and really kind of just stick to the new routine that you have as a stability. and then adjust accordingly on your bad days. And that's how I've gotten through this. That's how I adjusted, back then, and I've gotten pretty good about it. So, yeah.
Man, yeah, and yeah, when you speak of therapy, I had therapy in high school. That's
Mhm.
also how I got through my, trauma.
Mhm.
'Cause I held in guilt for a long time,
Yeah.
and I'm still in contact with my therapist to this day,
Good.
like,
Yeah.
'cause I follow her and she follows me on social media, making sure we're both good, and, like, she's basically like my second mom.
Yeah.
And then I have a second therapist. I haven't seen her in a while. I don't know what she's up to. I don't even know if she's on social media or not.
Mhm.
But she was like my third mom when my first therapist had left the high school.
Yeah.
But we always stayed in contact, and we're still in contact now.
That's good.
And I've always like I know some people are like scared to go to therapy, thinking like it's like a horrible thing. I'm like, it's actually not a horrible thing. The only
Yeah.
horrible thing is you not opening up and
Yeah.
not feeling safe.
I mean, it's so
But it is a tough thing to do because it does require for you to open up to get the help. So it
yes,
is a tough thing.
and
So
that's the scary part, right?
yeah.
That you're gonna have to face these things, but the problem is the alternative is worse because you
Yeah.
can I mean, there's so many stories. I've experienced one personally with someone whom I loved, who did not get the help that they needed, and in 2 or 3 years, their entire life fell apart, you know, and
Oh
and
man.
and it's just because they spiraled so much and refused to get any kind of help, and it's like, if you would have just gone and gotten the help you needed from a professional, none of this would have happened, and it's just like it's you we can't say it's so easy because it's not. It takes work. It takes, facing your demons. But if you don't do that, your life can spiral into something horrible. It's like what happened. I mean, if you look at it this way, this is what I like to tell people who are a little, uneasy about therapy. If you have a broken leg and you don't go to the doctor or you don't
Mhm.
go to the hospital to get it fixed, you just deal with it. Well, a lot of bad things can happen if you don't do that. First of all, you may never walk again. Second of
Mhm.
all, it might heal horribly and
Mhm.
you'll have other problems, You might get an infection. There's a lot of yeah, and you look at it that way, that's how mental health is. That's how our mind and our spirit is. If we
Mhm.
have these broken things that have happened to us and things aren't working correctly, and we just ignore them and push them down and don't face them and don't fix them, and we don't get the medicine that we need, either literal medicine or just talking to someone, um, then it can cause so much more damage to our lives and to the other people around us. Um, and, yeah, it can be a scary thing, but, again, the alternative is a lot of times a lot worse.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
And,
Uh,
hey, I have
but
no problem
right.
admitting I'm on medication for my mental health, and it
Mhm.
works. I feel like me, you know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest thing is it you lose
Yeah. Heck
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel, I didn't realize that I struggled with anxiety and depression until,
Hmm.
2021, and that
Wow.
really, once I got on medication for it, it was like night and day. I was like, "Hey,
Mhm.
Brian's back. I can, move forward." And it was just nice. And that was before my health tanked. I was on medication before that, and I'm glad because had I not been, it would have been much worse.
Wow. Wow. Well, we're coming up on time, but before we end this, I got inspired to do this thing from a wrestling podcaster where he asks his guests, "What's the top three things you're thankful for?"
Mhm.
Because like I'm always about Thanksgiving and being thankful and being grateful for things in life. Like for me, it's one first is God. I'm thankful for God because I wouldn't be here without him in the first place.
Mhm.
And especially if I went down the rabbit hole deeper, I probably wouldn't even be alive today.
Yeah.
But he pulled me out each time.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for my family that he gave me because they keep me grounded and they keep me humble and
Mm.
protected and not allow me to get that ego like you mentioned earlier in the show. And three, I'm thankful for creativity because I can tell stories
Yeah.
and I can produce, I can write, and I am learning to direct because I am an aspiring filmmaker. So I am very determined I will get to film, make my own
Nice.
TV show someday,
There you go.
um, and even movies someday. Um, yeah, and I'm just really just thankful. I'm at a fourth, or it's like a double thing, but I'm just grateful. I'm thankful for life and
Yeah.
just be able to live.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I could echo the same things in the same order, really. But I mean, I would probably just, put my own personal caveat on it. I mean,
Mm.
one is God. I have, I've wrestled with God my whole life, wrestling through my personal faith, and he's never left me. He's always stayed there. He's always been patient with me. He's been caring with me, shown me his true character in times where I've just, even thought he was a monster. And he's been there and not left. And that has been a true blessing, the biggest blessing of my life. And so I'm so thankful for that. But also, my wife, Robin, has been a godsend. I could not function without my wife, and I meant that before my health tanked, as just emotionally, spiritually, mentally loved her, and couldn't do this life without her. But now I physically, she's my number one caregiver. I mean, she has really lived out the in sickness part of the vows, and I cannot, I can't put to words how thankful I am for my wife. And honestly, she's responsible for me even starting on this journey professionally.
Wow.
In 2015, early 2015, we'd been married for a year at that time. We'd been together for a few, and I had always been telling her about this idea, which is Memoirs of an Angel. Um, and eventually she was just like, "Look, I love that you're telling me these things. I don't I can't keep it all straight in my head. Why don't you do it?" And she went to school for business and accounting. And she's like,
Mm,
"I will help you," because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to. I mean, I'm a much better business person now than I ever was back then. I had no clue what I was doing. I learned I tried to get it off the ground a couple times before she
mhm,
came into the picture, and it just didn't work, because I didn't know anything about business. She came in, made it possible, encouraged me, and still encourages me to this day, and is a co-publisher. She goes to all the shows and sells all the books, because I physically can't go anymore. So
wow.
she keeps it alive out in the real world, and so to have someone in your life that loves you like that and is a true partner in every aspect, is such a blessing. And so I always go out of my way to give her the flowers that she deserves, as her own individual person, but also as my wife and my best
Mhm.
friend. Um, thirdly, I would say, I mean, I would say I'm gonna have 4 as well. I'm gonna say my friends and family, have kept me, that they've come alongside me and helped me in so many ways that I could never repay. And
Mm,
I'm so thankful to them. Get through I couldn't have gotten to this point without them. I couldn't continue from this point on without them. And I love them dearly. And the
mm,
fourth thing is creativity, but specifically storytelling. I think we
mhm.
are, as a human race, a storytelling creation. We are,
Agree.
people who thrive, understand, we build our ideas off of storytelling, even on a personal level. What did you do today? That's a story.
Mhm.
And so like we are storytelling beings, and I will always firmly believe that storytellers are a I would say they are just as important as spiritual leaders, because
Mhm.
that's what we respond to the most. That's what we
Yep.
crave. We
Yep.
want a good story, and then even if it's just subconscious, we take what we ingest story in a
Yeah.
story, and we it changes us, and we move forward with that in our minds. And I think that Alan Moore talks about that being a sort of, well, it is magic, and he has his fun, weird explanation because he's an actual, wizard, which is fun.
Yeah.
But but the way that he puts it, I agree with him. I mean, it is literal magic that can bring ideas out of the ether, put them into reality, and it actually change people. And I think
Mhm.
that is something that we all need, and we will always need it. And you cannot replicate it through machines. You can't replicate it you can't take shortcuts. It is a very human experience. And
Agree.
hashtag AI sucks. But
Yep.
but like
Facts. Facts.
that is why I draw such hard lines when it comes to AI in the arts. I think it has its place and it needs to be regulated and all that. But I think in the arts, we need to keep that human, because
Mhm.
you can't do anything else other than it becomes less when it's anything other than a human experience. And we need
Mhm.
it, we thrive on it. So those are my 4 things, for sure.
And where can we follow you on social medias and to see what you're up to?
Yeah, honestly, everything, my all my social media, my news sign up on my newsletter, my upcoming Kickstarter, which is the sequel to Memoirs of an Angel. It's an occult detective novel called The Mysterious Adventures of Eula McDowell, that follows an older seasoned demonologist in an alternate 1990s. It's a lot of fun. It's different from Memoirs of an Angel. But that Kickstarter information, everything is on brianrodman.com. It's all there. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Those are the 2 places that I am the most. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not super active. I just kind of post pictures with music, and that's about it. I just don't have the energy to be a content creator over there. I would love to. I think I have the ability to, or have the personality for it, but I just don't have the physical ability. But anyway, I digress. BrianRodman.com. That's where you go for everything. So yeah, and I have an online store. So there you go.
Heck yeah. And I am Kevin Davis. You can get me on Instagram at I am Kevin Davis Official, TikTok, I am Kevin Davis CEO, and Facebook, I am Kevin Davis CEO, and kevinside.com. And you can find this podcast, Carol's the Road, on Spotify and wherever else you get watch podcasts. Brian, thank you so much for coming on, man, and sharing your story. And keep up with with what you're doing, man. It's inspirational. It's phenomenal, and I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very. I'm
And
proud of you too,
um,
man. Thank you for having me on. I'm honored
thank
to
you,
be here.
man.
Thank you very much.
Man, thank you, man. And all the links we just said are in the are in the description of this video, guys. So we'll see you guys next time on Carol's World Podcast, where we talk mental health and share our stories, hoping it helps somebody someday. So we'll catch you later.